All right, class, today we're talking parabolas part 2. All right, so real quick, if you have to go back at any point during these notes, feel free to do so. And then you'll have an assignment here at the end that you should be able to use these notes on. They might be helpful for you. So just quick to recall, when we have a parabola that opens up or down, this is the standard form where our x values come first and are squared. The y values are not squared, and those come on the right side of the equal sign. Okay, and then those kind of switch when it's open left or right. Okay, when it's left or right, the y values come first, quantity squared, and the x values are on the right side and are not squared. Okay, you can also see at the bottom here, if the p value is positive, this opens to the right. If the p value is negative, this opens to the left. Okay, so some new examples today. Here we're going to be given different points and parts and directrix and things like that. We have to come up with the standard form of these equations of the parabolas, kind of based off what they give us. So in this first one, it says 2, -3, with a focus of -1, -3. So to write the equation of this parabola, what we're going to have to do is first plot those things. Okay, so let's plot both the vertex and the focus. And then we have to decide which way this opens. And so if I kind of make a mental sketch of this in my head, I can obviously see this is going to go around my focus. So it's going to the left, just like that. And then with the standard form, I have to first find my p-value. So the p-value here is -3. There's a distance of 3, and it's going to the left, so it's a -3 for the p. And then I can write the equation by just kind of substituting in the x and y of my vertex, as well as the -3 for my p-value. Okay, so when I do that, I think I end up with the equation y plus 3 quantity squared equals -12 times the quantity x minus 2. All right, here's another example. This one, the vertex is going to be at 2, 5, and have a directrix of y equals 7. So if we write the equation of this parabola, our first step is to graph the things that we're given, our vertex and the directrix. So if I do that, here's my vertex, here's my directrix. And this one is obviously going to open down because it's going to be in the opposite direction of the directrix. All right, so there's a quick sketch of that. Right, then we need to think about what standard form are we using. The x is going to come first, or the y is going to come first. Well, an up and down one, the x values come first, quantity squared. And so then what we have to find is our p-value. And it looks like on this one, since this opens down, it's going to be a negative, and there's 2 spaces in between the directrix as well as the focus. So it's going to be a -2. Substitute in your x and y values of your vertex as well as the -2 for the p-value into the equation for our standard form, and we get this: x minus 2 quantity squared equals -8 times the quantity y minus 5. Again, that's a -8 because it's -2 times 4p. All right, next example. The parabola passes through the point 2, -1 and has a vertex of -7, 5. This one also opens to the right. These ones I think are the most challenging because it just gives you a point that it passes through. We haven't really done one like this before. All right, but we do know it opens to the right, so this one is going to be one where our standard form is where the y values come first, quantity squared. All right, and then what you have to do is substitute in your vertex values for h and k. So after doing that, I'm just going to plug in my -7 and 5 into that equation. And then I also know that this goes through the point 2, 1. Well, 2, 1 is just an x, y point, so we can plug this in for our x and y to make it look like this equation. -1 minus 5 quantity squared equals 4p times the quantity 2 plus 7. And then you'll notice that the only variable that's left is p. So we can solve for p. And by doing -1 minus 5, that's -6. -6 quantity squared is 36. 2 plus 7, of course, is 9 over there. I have to divide by both 4 and 9, which is 36. So this is just going to be p equals 1. Right, and then I can substitute back in that 1 into my equation, and I'm also going to keep my vertex values in there. Remember, that's how you write standard form. So in this case, it's going to be y minus 5 quantity squared equals 4 times the quantity x plus 7. Again, the 5 and the 7 that you see come from your vertex, as well as the 4. That's your p-value. Normally that's 4p. Since p is 1, that's just 4. All right, next question says the parabola passes through, again, another point, 5, 2, and has a vertical axis. That means the vertical axis of symmetry. So this is going to be one where it either opens up or down. and it has a minimum value. So since there's a minimum, that means this is going to open up, right? It goes forever up in the up direction, and so this will have a bottom to the parabola, making it a minimum. All right, so what does that mean? This means that our minimum value there, that 4, -3, that is going to be our vertex. All right, that always comes, remember, it's where the graph starts from going down, back up. And so the only point where that happens is the vertex. After I sub that in, now it's going to look like this. X minus 4 quantity squared equals 4p times the quantity y plus 3. Substitute in your 5, 2. This is just another point that's on our parabola. And so put that in for x and y. And then we need to solve for p. So 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 squared is still 1 equals the other side, 4p times 5. And so here, if I do a little bit of math, 4 times 5 on that right side is 20. If I have to divide by 20 to get the p isolate, it's actually going to be 1/20th. Okay, it's okay. That's a fine answer, right? That's actually a multiple of 4 that we'll see here in a second. Because when I multiply that times 4 in front of that second set of parentheses, 1/20th times 4 is 1/5, right? And that's okay. That's okay to have a weird kind of fraction in front of that second one. That is absolutely okay number. All right, our last question of the day. Here we're just given a graph of this parabola. This one opens, let's see what we notice about it. Opens to the left. Looks like our vertex is the point 3, 5. Remember, that's not the point that you see, but that's on the actual parabola. And then the focus is the point 2, 5. And so it looks like there's going to be a p-value of a -1 since this opens to the left. Let's see if we got it right here. 3, 5. P-value is -1. Yep. Standard form for this one, this is where the y's will come first since this is opening to the left. So then if I just plug those two things in, really this is all you need. Is you need the vertex and you need the p-value. So after I do that, I get y minus 5 quantity squared equals -4 times the quantity x minus 3. All right, those are your notes for today. You'll have a worksheet here in a little bit, and we'll see you guys in the next one.